Hello everybody, welcome to the last video of Module 1. Okay, so now we've gone through what is high performance computing, how do we get an account, what do we get with that account, right? So how do we log in? And now we're going to talk about the specifics of what do we get in terms of storage, compute power, and what additional services we as Research Computing Center can provide to you, your class, your lab, etc. Okay, so I'm going to give a brief overview of all of it, and then I'll go into three specific areas of services that we provide, just so those are the clearest ones. Okay, so first, in terms of infrastructure, we have a physical location. In case you ever need to know, this is our actual cluster is held in the Sligo Data Center down at Innovation Park. Okay, now we do have tours available, and that is part of your RCC account. You can always ask us for a tour so you can see where the magic happens. Okay, now we have what you get when you get an account is what we call a standard RCC account. Here you get one home directory that's similar to how your directory of files works in your own computer. You get 150 gigs of parallel storage, which is great. You get temporary scratch space, which means that you can save stuff there, but we may delete it um, at random times. So if you need, for example, if you're running a process that you need to write something and then write it to somewhere else, but you need someone to write it in the middle, Scratchbase is great for that if you don't care that that middle may disappear at any moment in time. Then you have access to two queues, general access and backfill queues, okay? And you have, remember what we said about queues, those are the lines that get your jobs done. And you have access through Open On Demand and the command line interface. This will change if you're affiliated to a specific lab or if you're affiliated to a specific class. You may get the additional queue for that class or that lab, okay? But most accounts get access to just general and backfill. Make sense? Okay. Now, additional future features for paid RCC accounts are the following. You get access to more storage. So you can have either more parallel storage, which means that you can do it for computational, or you get access to archival storage. Let's say you want to store a lot of data that you will use at a further date, or do you want to store for, let's say, grant purposes or just sustainability purposes for your data. We can also work that out for you. Okay. The next one is priority access, which means that you get your own queue that can expedite your jobs. And then the third one is custom and specialized hardware. Think about, for example, graphical processing units, GPUs for deep learning model training or other types of work. These are what we call custom and specialized hardware. And we'll talk a bit more about specialized hardware in a minute. Okay, but hope that's clear in terms of what we covered, what you have. But standard RCC accounts is for most people are gonna fall, and just understand what your needs are, okay, and what you need. Okay, now what do we mean when we say support? Now, the first time is what you get in terms of hardware, what you get in terms of services. Now, support means what do we provide you? The first one is software installation and configuration and maintenance. That means if you need software installed that you cannot install by yourself, we can install it for you and we take requests for that. Now, big in mind that we serve the entire university campus, okay? So it may take a bit of time for us to get to those installation requests or especially the upgrade requests. Okay, the second one is technical support. So if there's already installed applications and software, we provide support for them within limits of reason, right? We are not experts on all software, but we try to maintain a good working knowledge of all the software that is on our system, okay? Especially those that have a lot of users like MATLAB, R, and Python. Now, workflow process support and improvement assistance. What we mean by this, we mean if you have a program that is serial and you want to turn it so it takes advantage of our parallel structure, we can advise on where to find information for this. It does not mean that we'll write that code for you. We want to be extremely clear, but it means that we can provide assistance on where to find information for it. And the last one is just specific commands and utilities that you may need to interact with our system, right? And that is self-explanatory. We have additional paid support in addition to the support services, which is software development consulting for very strenuous projects or projects that you think are going to take months of time or that you need a dedicated person for that. And the second one is in-depth software focused consulting, right? Now, software development is mainly just tweaks of code. Software consulting tends to be long-term projects, okay? But that's just a delineation we make to make it easier for us to understand where we're at with most projects. Now, having talked about all this, I know that was a lot. Okay, there's three that I really want to talk about, and it's these three: specialized resources, research support, teaching resources. Okay, those are the big three that we advertise and we do constantly. Okay, so let's take a look at each one of these separately. Specialized resources, as I said, some of our additional services are that we provide more storage, we can make individual partitions, we can give you specialized software like GPUs, and the fourth one is what we call academic co-locations. That means if an academic unit, like let's say a department or a center or an institute, needs to host a server rack or needs more than we offer, we can host that at our data center, right? And that tends to lower the bill on those costs, and we can share that. Um, so those are some of our very specialized resources, and these may not apply for most students, but I'm just putting that out there in case, depending on the audience that watches the video. An exhaustive list of our services can be found on the ITS list of research technologies. And I encourage you to look this up if you have a question of what could we do for you or your project, right? Now, the second thing was research support. Here I'm highlighting three of the projects that we've done in the last about 7 months, and some of these have been supported for years at the Research Computing Center. First one is in psychology with the Graden Lab, right? So we offer a specific partition for them, and they do very strenuous work there. Same thing with the cryo-EM work in the STAG Lab. And the thing about these two is that they've been long collaborations with the standing professors there, right? So these two differ from the third one. The third one was with PhD candidate Giulia Venturini, and I mentioned this project because you can see that the support changes depending on who we're working with. It can be years-long collaboration like it is with Dr. Stagg. It can be specific project collaboration like it is with PhD candidate Venturini. And then it can be for very specific projects or for long-term collaborations, right? And that is what we want to get to. We want to serve all aspects of research at the university, and that is what we have here, right? And so don't be afraid to reach out if you think that we can help, and if you think that there could be a space for RCC in your project in terms that you don't know where you're standing with our high performance computing resources, please reach out. And that is the most important part of this whole series, okay? Now, the last one is teaching resources, right? We offer two types of teaching resources, which are workshops that we host, similar to what we're doing here online. We host Intro to HPC, Intro to Linux, Intro to R, Intro to Slurm, our Python bootcamp, which is a day-long bootcamp, and then how to use MATLAB and HPC. Then we offer in-class lectures, and those are particular to the professor and what they need to get their job done, right? So the professor can ask us for particular workshops, and we tailor on the workshops we have for that in-class lecture. So there's many more topics than the ones I put here, but I just wanted to give you a sense of how broad our teaching resources can truly be. Okay. Having said all that, I hope that this makes clear that we are not just here to provide you with tools and let you adrift. We hope that with our documentation that we already have, with our specialized resources if you need them, and especially with our teaching resources, we are there to be a constant companion in your journey in high performance computing. Thank you so much, and I hope module 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 help out continue your learning. Thank you. Have a good day.